Hey guys, what is up? It is SgamingR here with the 13th playthrough of The Elder Scrolls V5 Skyrim. Last episode we completed the Missing in Action quest, which was the quest in which we had to go rescue a man from the Northwatch Keep. A keep that is heavily guarded by Talmor guards, which are the elves, high elves. It's like a hoity-toity society which lives in solitude. Anyway, here we are looking really weird because we do have this Skyrim helmet, which is what I call it. If you haven't watched my previous episodes, I call it the Skyrim helmet because this was the helmet that's featured in the trailer and the kind of the helmet that's associated with Skyrim. And I did pick up the Elven Light Imperial armor. Or Elven Light armor, sorry. I actually have 5 sets of them, as well as other Thalmor materials and things I got from chests there because, well, there was not that much loot there, but there was some, and then there were so many guards there. You just kill them and take their stuff, and it makes for, you can sell them each, just get some quick gold. And as I always say, gold never hurts. Skyrim gold is really useful for everything. And of course, if you're not playing on a PC and you feel like playing the game fair, you don't want to use console commands to get cheap gold. So this lady doesn't really have that much good armor. I guess the banded iron armor would be the best. At this point, what I mostly use her for now is just to buy the iron ingots and the leather straps, which is to get your smithing level up. But if you really want to buy some armor here, I mean, I guess it's a little expensive and it's kind of unnecessary because this armor you can easily get from some of the later dungeons. Steel is not that great. If some of her armor and weapons are enchanted, you can buy those if you want to disenchant them so that you can memorize the enchantment using the enchanting table. But it's up to you because at this early point in the game, you shouldn't be worrying about enchanting, smithing, or alchemy because you don't need those things right now. And what happens is if you level them up too much, you increase too many levels yourself because each smithing level, alchemy level, and enchanting level adds to your own overall level. And the higher your overall level is, the higher the game world level is, and the higher the game world level is, the harder the monsters are, and the lower your actual combat skills are. Yep. Okay. So I just went into the shop there because I wanted to sell that Elven Light armor. Decided to take this axe here. It's so funny how you can make anyone feel uncomfortable in Skyrim. So yeah, I think two-handed weapons versus one-handed weapons. Now it's obviously personal opinion, but as you can see, that thing looked powerful as hell. Like that could take out a lot of things in one hit. And there are even more powerful two-handed weapons out there, but you won't see me really using two-handed weapons often. Maybe once, maybe for like a couple minutes, because I personally enjoy using two-handed weapons. First of all, using two-handed weapons, two one-handed weapons, like one in the left hand and one in the right, is a great combo for getting those really speedy attacks out. Especially against dragons, what I find is that when they're burning you, and they already have a low health, and you just go all out on them. So your health will keep going down, but your attack will be so strong you should be able to kill them before you die. And then you slowly regenerate. Or you just switch to a healing spell in the left hand. It's just so great because it's so convenient. I have my healing on 3rd on my favorite list, so that's really easy to reach. And yeah, so now we're going to Riverwood because we have to go to Lucan Valerius. The reason we are going here is to sell some more stuff. So just scrolling through what we're doing this episode, we are fighting another dragon. Awesome. And we are going to High Hrothgar. Now if you guys don't remember this was the main quest. Oh yes, I'll get back to that in a second. As you see right here, I'm taking literally gold and swords on the table and stuff. The reason I'm doing this is because we did a quest for him, so he likes us more, therefore you're able to take more stuff from his house. That's kind of how it works here in Skyrim. You do a favor and they always find a way to repay you. On the back table you'll see 2 potions, if you can see. Kind of in the topish left corner of the screen, you see those 2 red potions. On the right, you can take those, that's what's awesome. So here I'm just selling the stuff I literally kind of took from him. Okay, so going back to the High Hrothgar, so the main quest was assigned by... Well, actually, after we killed the dragon Murmelnir in a previous episode, we absorbed its dragon soul, which is, direct proof that we are something called Dragonborn, which is what this game is about. Which means we can shout and, well, we can learn shouts easier. All Nords can learn shouts, but we learn them faster, but we don't need to actually learn them. All we have to do is just kill a dragon, absorb its soul, learn the word, and then unlock it, essentially. Game speaking. And so the Greybirds summoned us because they are masters of the shout, and I guess they're just going to give us some training so that they live on the highest mountain in Skyrim. All the way up there in a big castle. Castle-like fortress, I guess you could say. It looks pretty heavily walled. I mean, the walls are pretty thick. They don't have, like, guards or anything. It's just the 4 Greybeards, and their master lives on the top of the mountain, but we don't get to him until later in the game. Because he doesn't just accept visitors. You have to, approve. He has to, like, approve of your shout, if that makes sense. I don't know what I was doing here. I must have been really bored or something. So yes, I'm going to label this video actually Road to Hrothgar Part 1, because it is, I guess, quite a bit distance away. It's not the closest thing. First you have to get through these, the gates. You have to walk all the way down from south of Riverwood. So you should actually, if you want, I guess, fast travel to Helgen, which is the city we started out in Skyrim, and follow Clairvoyance, or just look on the map and follow the road. Because since it's a mountain, you can't just kind of walk up the slope. It's not really how the game works. The only path you can go is just by following the actually accessible path, and not the physical path as in the path that was made by humans, but just a path that is actually traversable, because this game is somewhat realistic in terms of, well, not really. You can't... Okay, I have no idea where I'm going with this. I'm just gonna say, just use Clairvoyance. It's so much easier than trying to scale up a mountain with no slope. Alright. So you will run into some wolves, and even eventually up the way we'll run into a frost troll, which will be next episode, or the second to next. Because getting there is first of all, it's distracting. I mean, you might think we're on the road to the mountain here, but we actually have to go to the gates which lead to the steps. And that's another thing. Apparently there are 7,000 steps which lead to High Hrothgar. And it's not just going up a path to the mountain. This path is the path that's leading us to these steps, essentially. Now, the steps are found in a completely different village, which we haven't discovered. Anyway, here's my first random dragon attack. So, no, this is not a quest dragon. This is not scripted. This guy just decided to fight me, and I've accepted his challenge. Okay, so as you can see, he's quite strong. One tail swipe, I took out a fourth or a third of my health. And so I don't really want to mess around here. I don't know, instead of holding the flame spell in the left hand, you guys should probably hold the healing spell. Or what you can do is just let Lydia duke it out, and you play it safe. Play it safe with the bow and arrow from a safe distance. Obviously the dragon will go after you sometimes, but you're just gonna have to deal with that. That's the way Skyrim is. Because dragons won't just attack Lydia. I mean, if you're attacking with the bow, they'll go after you too. Here you see me using that two-handed weapon, as I was saying earlier in the game. in the recording something's wrong with my voice right now. This is actually probably the only part where I decide to use the two-handed weapon. The reason being, I just didn't really like it that much. It's too slow for my taste. So here's me actually using some common sense and using healing instead of wasting my potions, because potions become really valuable later on in Skyrim, because you can't just use a healing spell against everything. Some things are too powerful for that. So yes, the two-handed weapon, as you see, is pretty powerful. It does quite a bit of damage. First of all, it's also because it is enchanted, so it does do shock damage. And it's a pretty powerful two-hand in general, but it's still too slow. With two one-handed weapons, you'd be able to take out health much faster and not waste stamina slugging away at this guy. Now, I found that hitting the dragon in any place isn't really that much of a matter. I mean, you can hit it in its tail, as you see me doing right here, and when the health gets down low enough, all dragons will stagger, as it's doing right now. I just kind of froze it. That blue outline is the shocks. Shocks from my enchantment weapon. One thing though, staying at the tail, which is bad, is that it'll do this tail strike, but then if you stay at the head, it'll bite you and use its flames. Now, most likely it will turn around. At this point, I don't know, it's pretty retarded dragon. It just decided to keep smacking its tail, facing its head the other way. So it's an easy takeout for me. I easily just keep swinging at it, and it goes down really fast. It's one of the easier dragons. Dragons, just plain dragons. If you encounter a dragon in the wild and its name is just dragon, it's going to be very easy. Frost dragons are harder, and blood dragons are harder. And then the hardest type of wild dragons you'll find are ancient dragons. And these only, I'm not entirely sure, but you only find these after you reach a certain level. I'm not entirely sure what the level is, but I'm going to say anywhere from 25 to 50. So after you reach that level, ancient dragons will appear, but they won't appear when you're below these levels. I'm pretty sure of that. So as ever, obviously you're not going to get the same dragon I did. You might not even get a dragon there. On my previous save, I didn't get a dragon there, so it's a completely random thing. As I said, it's not scripted. It's a wild dragon. It's like Pokemon. You know, when you walk around in the grass, you're not always going to get the same thing. It's completely random. So there's a good analogy. Okay, now for the loot of dragons, most of them will have coins. All the dragons I've killed as of now have always had coins, at least 100 gold. You know, I've gotten up to 500, but I haven't really killed that many dragons, even up to this point. Some of them do have enchanted weapons, armor, mage robes, etc. So this is really creepy right here. It looks like something from Oblivion in one of the gates. If you don't remember, Oblivion is the previous game in the Elder Scrolls. Anyway, back to loot, and then you'll always get dragon bones and dragon scales. The amount can be different depending on the dragon. So I would say that ancient dragons give more. Here we're just fighting some bandits in an abandoned camp, that's alright. Or an abandoned village, it looks like. I think ancient dragons give more bones just because they're bigger, since they're older. And then like a plain dragon it only gave me 2 bones and 3 scales or something. Or maybe 3 scales and 2 bones. So yes, if you're going to the village or the town where these steps are this way, then you will run into that camp. It's pretty easy, just take out the 3 bandits. And I'm not really sure what that place was we were in before, because I want to say, you know, I actually have no idea. It's probably just some sort of abandoned village which was taken over by these bandits. Most likely scripted, because as far as I've seen, bandits don't just come and raid a village. Like, can you imagine a bunch of bandits in Riverwood just kind of chilling there, and then when you walk in, they all attack you, and then you see all the village people lying on the ground. That stuff's probably not going to happen. This fox had to die. This is so funny. Lydia's trying to snipe it from afar. Oh, I thought she almost got it there. I think I've said in a previous video, it's funny. You get these things, if you hit start, if you're on the PS3, go to the general information. One of the things it'll say is amount of bunnies killed, because apparently they're the hardest animal to kill. Because they run really damn fast. Now you have to like... I had to use a whirlwind sprint a couple times to catch up to them. But I don't know, they're fun to kill, you know, bunnies. They're cute, but then they taunt you when they run away, so you just have to kill them. Now here we're gonna encounter some hunters and travelers, etc. I had no idea where we were going. I was just following clairvoyance because, you know, clairvoyance never really gets you wrong. Most of the time, it shouldn't. But it can happen, like where clairvoyance kind of gets glitched, like it goes into a wall, but there's actually a way you're supposed to go around the wall, as we've seen in previous dungeons. But that's alright. You should, honestly, if you're playing this game, you should be smart enough to figure out what to do if clairvoyance does happen to do this. I don't even condone the use of clairvoyance. I mean, like, I'm sorry if this is getting annoying, my repetitive use of clairvoyance, but like, I just don't want to get lost. I mean, not lost as in, like, oh, I'll never be able to find my way out again, because that doesn't really happen. But as in, like, I would hate using all my sprint energy to run somewhere and then use clairvoyance to find that I have to turn around and go another way, because that would just suck. Here we got another persuade, intimidate, and bribe. So my persuade failed. And unfortunately, once your persuade fails, sometimes you won't be able to talk to them again. Now, I want to go back and check what the bribe amount was. 1 second. 21 gold, which is not that much considering we have around 200 or something now, maybe more. But still, you don't want to waste 21 gold. Maybe you actually could. It would probably give you a miscellaneous quest, or maybe even a quest, like a regular quest. I have no idea. I'll never know now. And I'll never know how to find this lady again. See, because if you don't know this, quests in Skyrim, like small quests, like visit this and etc., are randomly generated. Now, I recently learned this after believing they were not randomly generated, but someone told me they were, and I looked at the facts, and yeah, he was right. I was wrong. Makes me so sad. But that's what it was. Okay. So, you know, you could randomly find a mercenary walking around in a place like this. You know, their mission might be to kill one guy, or their mission could be to kill another guy. Or there's a chance that it is a scripted, you know, regular quest, but I'll never know now. Maybe you guys can look it up for me, if you be so kind. Anyway, 18 minutes of commentary, 18.5 minutes really kills your brain. So yes, we are on our way to High Hrothgar. I'm actually going to cut the video off here. Next video will be going to High Hrothgar Part 2. So please join me then, and if you liked the video, like it. Sorry for the not interesting commentary, but there wasn't... Well, in all fairness, I mean, there wasn't that much I did. I just sold some stuff and then walked to High Hrothgar. Yes, we did encounter a dragon. That was pretty awesome. Free loot. Anyway, yes, I'm going to cut this off now. Please join me for the next episode, Skyrim Playthrough 14. And have a good day.